Today, I want to talk about PTSD and post-traumatic stress disorder. It can really incredibly limit our lives and trigger these ununderstood, these irrational fears that we have no idea where they're even coming from. It could come from something that happened when we were 7 years old and we're 80 years old now, and something's triggering us into fears and we don't understand why. Or it could be last year or 10 years ago. And it is this program in the subconscious mind that it doesn't feel safe. Something happened long ago that we were not able to be with and to be able to process through it. So I want to talk about this today, a little bit more about the understanding of PTSD and some helpful tools to get you started in the direction of getting your life back. My name is Arne Pedersen from Awareness and Health, and I'm based in Victoria, BC. I'm a mindfulness-based counseling hypnotherapist, and I work with people online and in person, helping them move through emotional challenges such as PTSD, anxiety, build self-confidence, self-esteem back, and things like that. Now with PTSD, if we think of a car accident, that there was a physical trauma, then it was too much to handle. And so our subconscious mind, it protects us, it puts us into shock, and it kind of disconnects us away from our body feeling because it's too much to handle at the time. We wouldn't be able to cope with it. So emotionally, this happens as well, where we'll dissociate, where something will happen is too traumatic, and we'll actually disconnect from the feeling sensations in our body, the emotional feelings, as well as the physical. And so what happens is we disconnect and it gets sort of shoved down and saved for a later time, that when it's more safe to process through the feelings. But quite often they just build up and they build up, and things in life, we just feel afraid and triggered into stress and anxiety or panic really easily all of a sudden, or just over the years, and we don't really, what was pushed down when we dissociated and disconnected away from the feelings, it was never ever processed. It was put aside, and it just keeps building up and accumulates. Now, what happens is that panic attacks, for example, it's kind of like PTSD, where something will happen, and if it's just in the moment, a challenging event in the moment, we could be with it probably and be able to handle it and process through if it's just an average kind of challenge in life. But an average challenge in life, if we have a bunch of things from the past, traumatic events that we've just shoved down, our subconscious has protected us from, or an accumulation of all kinds of difficult events, that what happens, they're kind of put away or shoved into the subconscious filing cabinet, that part of our mind that stores that kind of experiences. And then something happens in life that kind of reminds us, that brings up the kind of feelings like those experiences. So in a sense, it's kind of like it opens up that filing cabinet, the door to all those old feelings, and they all come exploding up all at once. And we get overwhelmed. And that's why we can't just deal with the thing in the moment, because there's so much unresolved emotional stuff that's been shoved away to be protected from, that it just comes up all at once. Now, our subconscious mind, if it's not resolved, it starts to have this belief that life is not safe, where it's not safe to put ourselves out in the life because of this traumatic event. It doesn't understand past, present, or future. It doesn't know that the event might have happened 10, 20, 30 years ago, and maybe we're in a really good place now, and we can handle ourselves just fine. But the subconscious doesn't know that quite often, and it still thinks we're back then because the feeling comes up and it just opens the door and triggers us back to that time and event in our long-term memory. And so the subconscious then, it puts us on high alert, and we start to sort of notice things and trigger into these old programs really easily. Now, if we want to move through PTSD, we need to resolve that energy from the past somehow. The best way to resolve energy in the past is to actually handle being here right now in the moment. If we can't handle being here right now where we are, then how can we handle more in life when something happens and it's triggering up all this past stuff? but we're wanting to feel better, but we can't feel better because we're not able to just be here where we are and be okay. So we need to create safety again. We need to really learn to feel safe with who we are, comfortable with who we are, and accepting of who we are, and then build a love and acceptance of the present moment in life with what we do, and start to be able to perceive life again and prove and build the belief system and structure that life is safe. It is safe to be me. It's safe to put myself in life, out there in life. And as we do that, that starts to communicate to our subconscious life is safe. It doesn't need to trigger these old unresolved feelings that are still there to try and keep us from putting ourselves out in a dangerous situation again that might happen. And so an awareness practice is really helpful with that. I talk about this a lot. To sit every day, 5-10 minutes, and maybe just a few minutes, and sit and practice, go into our breathing, our physical body sensations. Practice being with what we feel in the here and now. To feel comfortable here right now, we need to be present with here and now. When we're off in thoughts, when we're thinking, when we're planning, when we're worrying, when we're in our mind, in our thoughts, we're not present in our body. We're actually within the dissociation program. Dissociation is a program of fight or flight, of protection. It disconnects us from our body because it's too much to feel in the event of a traumatizing event. So whenever we are in our head and we're sort of just daydreaming in a sense of all these thoughts, and we're just perpetuating all these thoughts in our head, planning, thinking, living life in our head, we're actually triggering our subconscious. We're reaffirming every time we do that, life is not safe. Because if it were safe, then we could be present with life right now, but we're not. We're in our head thinking a different reality than what's really going on right now because we're not present. And that communicates life is not safe through the dissociation of the present moment. So if we reassociate with the present moment back into our body feelings and sensations, we can then start to process what's going on now. And that'll start to process all the past stuck energy that had been built up and accumulated over the years. Practice being with what you feel. Practice breathing into your body sensations. That builds the confidence that we can be with what we feel. It builds emotional competence, that whatever happens in life, that we can be with what we feel. And then when we can be here right now with what we feel right in this moment, then we can start to be able to step out of our comfort zone and handle more from this good place and continually breathe into what we feel, and we're okay with what happens. And then the old events, we start moving through them and processing through experience of what we feel, that old energy. We can't process emotion if we're not with it, if we're not connected with it, if we're not present with the feeling sensation. To process emotion, we need to experience it with our awareness, attention, and focus. So when we practice being with what we feel, reassociating to the present moment, we're actually practicing to resolve the old stuck energies by being in the moment, because the present moment's always going to trigger up old stuff. And because everything that's still unresolved, we see things through those sort of perceptions of the old stuff because the content's still there at an emotional level. And so we'll look at things through those emotional filters. And so in the moment, every moment we have an opportunity to start processing through what we feel, through being present with it. So I hope you get a lot from this. Give this a go and practice being with what you feel, doing a simple awareness practice to build self-acceptance, to be and accept your feelings and emotions, which will help you reassociate back to your ability to process your body feelings, and it'll start to process the past unresolved energies. And so if you're interested to take this steps further, if you want to go beyond just trying to do this on your own, I think it's very, very helpful to contact a therapist that can really help you. I offer a free 1-hour consultation, video consultation that is no obligation whatsoever. This gives us the time to sort of get to know each other a little bit, find out a little bit about what's going on, and see if the therapy process I offer is a fit for you. So if this interests you, just connect with me, and you can book online really easy to book that consultation. Go to my website. The information is here with this video. And otherwise, I really hope you got a lot from this video. And if you enjoyed it at all, if you liked it, it just takes a second to just, click the like button and share it if you think it's share worthy. And so I really look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I wish you a wonderful day.